everyone, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. We are on day 24. The title is You Are Incomparable. And the scripture is Psalm 139 verse 14, and it says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. And the devotional says, as hard as it may be to believe, what God is doing in the lives of others has absolutely nothing to do with what he is seeking to do in you. When we obsess about what others are doing, we make room for doubt to creep in. You're not doing enough, you're behind, it's too late, you're not as talented, your life isn't as pretty, you don't have enough, you just aren't enough. Much of our insecurity comes from our addiction to comparison and trying to keep up with what others seem to be doing and accomplishing. We become mirage chasers, addicted to photoshopped illusions and harvesters of ego, greed, and envy. We think that superficial grass is greener, but it's not. It's still just grass. You are incomparable. There's no one like you. If we spent as much time focusing on our bigger dreams as we do in watching others live theirs, we'd be happier and making a bigger dent in the kingdom. So let us stop comparing and staring. Plus, staring, it's not polite. Comparison cripples our confidence and compromises our calling. This, I feel like, couldn't be more timely because we live in the era and in the generation of social media. And whether we are in our 50s down to our teens, it affects all of us. There are spirits behind every single thing, whether we watch, what we do, there's a spirit behind everything. And I think that one of the biggest spirits behind social media is that comparison spirit, and that spirit that tempts us and really fights for us to not be content. And we've all heard the quote, comparison is the thief of joy. I think a lot of us have heard that. But I heard the other day someone say, comparison kills contentment. And I couldn't agree more with that. When it comes to social media, we weren't designed to keep up with and connect with as many people as we have access to. If we go back, the internet was only created in this, a couple generations ago. What was it, maybe like 50 years ago it was created, but it only became accessible in my lifetime. When I was a teenager, we had the dial-up internet. I'm aging myself, but some of you will totally know what I'm talking about. We weren't created or designed to connect with so many people. We had our communities and that was it. We could write letters, we could call people on the telephone, whatever it was. But now we have access to everyone across the globe. And in some ways, it's incredibly beautiful. We're more informed than ever. We can connect with people more than ever. Our prayers go further. You have communities and networks of people that are believing for miracles. I know when we were trying to get pregnant, and then when we got pregnant, and then when we experienced the loss of our baby girl, the amount of people that were praying for us and the messages that came in were so just absolutely incredible. I could feel that I was being lifted up by so many different people from across the globe. So that is the benefit, and I believe that that's what God is doing to redeem social media, and his gospel can go farther. But I want to remind us all that we weren't designed to keep up with that many people's lives. And it's not a genuine connection. It's not intimacy. It's more just information. I heard on a podcast the other day, there was a father who called in and he was like, I have a great relationship with my kids. I FaceTime them all day, every day. And he goes, I want to stop you right there, because he lives in the same town. So FaceTiming is amazing. But he said, I want to encourage you to get face to face with your kids more, because FaceTime is great. I commend you for talking to them daily. But a screen is just communication. It's not connection. And I think that it's a really, really beautiful tool. I hope that these devotions, at least one of them, have really encouraged you, inspired you to get into the word, inspired you to get closer to God and draw near to him. But it truly is just we're just communicating. I'm just communicating this via the internet, via YouTube. But if you were sitting in front of me and I could hear your story and we could talk and ask each other questions and hug each other and look into each other's eyes, that is connection. This is just communication, but that's connection. And I think that we have confused the two, and we are looking for connection in a place that can't give us connection. So when we're on social media and we're scrolling through people's lives and we're looking, we feel connected to these people. We've seen them get pregnant and have babies and buy the new house or build the new house or whatever it is, and we feel connected to them, but really it's just an exchange, usually one way, of just communication. They're communicating something to us, but I really think that we need to be mature. We need to take ownership of what we are watching, what we are allowing into our gates via our eyes and our ears. It says in Matthew 12:34 that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And if you are not sure, if you've maybe gotten a little bit lax with what you're seeing or hearing, or if you're like, oh, I watch and listen to a lot of great things, like there's nothing negative or toxic or demonic coming into me, like I'm good. I just want to challenge you, take inventory of what you're speaking. If you want to know if you really have become a little bit lax, or if there's a spirit of comparison, or if there's a spirit of I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, pay attention to the words you are saying. And another one, was it yesterday? A couple days ago, we talked about celebrating ourselves. How often are the words coming out of your mouth celebrating you and celebrating who you are, where you're going, where you've come from, what you're doing, and how much are the words that are coming out of your mouth more frustrated? I wish my house was bigger. I wish I had a, Pinterest kitchen. I wish I could afford the clothes she could afford. I wish I could afford to do all of the treatments that these celebrities can afford. I'm sure you've all seen it where you'll see a picture of someone really beautiful, generally a celebrity, and maybe a before and after, and people are like, oh, see, you don't have to be beautiful, you just have to be rich. You just need the money to pay for these things in order to feel a certain way. But what does it tell you if someone who has beauty and has fame and has a huge bank account is continuing to pour money into altering their appearance? That doesn't come from someone who is secure and knows who they are. Again, there's nothing wrong with procedures or anything like that, but I do think we need to just really, like I said, take ownership of what we are allowing in, and really maybe press a little deeper and ask the Lord what the spirit is behind that, what the enemy could be using through what's coming into us to make us doubt ourselves, to make us feel like we're not enough, to compare. And I just, the questions are, how has comparison hijacked your courage, clarity, and confidence? I love this question. I love the way it's worded, and I love the words that it uses, because it is so true. Comparison 100% hijacks our courage, our clarity, and our confidence. How many of us would absolutely love to wake up tomorrow, and I like to think of things in pictures. So if you think of like your phone battery being at 100% is full charge. What if your courage battery was at 100%, your clarity battery was at 100%, and your confidence was at 100%? How different would you tackle the world? How different would you wake up and start your day? How different would you look at your current circumstances and situations, and even the home you live in? I know for me, the moments that I was the most discontent, or I didn't feel confident, or I didn't feel courageous, and I lacked clarity, I was feeding myself so many different pictures of lives. I could tell you a lot of what people on the internet were doing, and this got me. This was a conviction to my heart when I read it for the first time, and maybe it is for you too. But it talks about, if we spent as much time focusing on our bigger dreams as we do in watching others live theirs, we'd be happier and making a bigger dent in the kingdom. I mean, that just got me, because I do think that sometimes we are robbed of living because we're watching other people live. And so it really is, sometimes we're on the internet and we see these influencers, or we see people who've created these amazing jobs and companies and things on the internet. And a few years ago, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and I'm like, I've just had this revelation that if you want a life on the internet, AKA a life to post about, a job, a family, you have to get off the internet. It's kind of that funny thing of like, if you want content to push or to post, the most genuine way to do that is to get off the internet. Stop watching everyone else live their lives and go live your own. Capture some special moments, maybe share some of them and hold a lot of them close to the chest, because not everyone deserves your intimate parts of your life. But I just think that it is so easy to slip into that trap of endless scrolling, of watching people live their own lives, and it prevents us from living ours. You wake up and you're like, wow, it's a year later. I'm in the exact same place. But this girl had a baby, met her husband, did whatever. And I'm not saying that if you got off the internet, all those things would happen, but I can tell you that in my life, 100% of the time that I've taken a social media fast, or I've gotten off, or I've cleaned up who I followed and I stopped following people who, when I really got discerning, was like, oh, there's definitely a spirit that is tempting me to compare myself. And I really want to be clear about this too, because what affects your spirit or your confidence or your self-image might not affect someone else. So I might follow someone that I see that really inspires me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they fill me full of hope. I love their lifestyle. It doesn't affect me in any way. I'm not comparing. I'm just happy. And then the person next to me might look at that same person's profile and just tear them to the ground. They're not full of hope. They think that that will never happen for them. And the enemy just can use different people in different ways. So whatever your convictions are as far as social media or following people or watching everyone else live their own lives, just don't push that on someone else, because I've had people do that to me. And I'm like, well, we're different. Things that are, or maybe there's just a maturity difference. Maybe the Lord is drawing you deeper and they're not there yet, and that's okay. The prayer at the bottom says, Lord, give me eyes to see, seize, and savor the wonderfulness you're doing in my life. Remove all envy. Give me the type of focus and discipline that invites your next level provision and direction. Make me a faith leaper, not a looker, which I just love. I'm going to read the first sentence and the last sentence one more time because they're so powerful. As hard as it may be to believe, what God is doing in the lives of others has absolutely nothing to do with what he is seeking to do in you. And this is so encouraging to me, because I tend to feel like the Lord is calling me to do something, and then the enemy is right there to show me a dozen other girls who are doing the exact thing that I feel like God is calling me to do. And they're probably doing it better, or at least that's my perception. So if that has happened to you, where the Lord, you feel like there's something inside of you that he is calling you to do, that he's trying to bring out of you, and as soon as you start to take a step or start to dream or start to make a plan, the enemy pops up all these other people that are doing it better or doing it longer or whatever the thing may be. I want you to take your thoughts captive and rebuke those things in the name of Jesus. They are not you. There is only one you. Therefore, if God put that desire or that dream or whatever it is inside of you, the world needs it. The enemy is trying to kill it with comparison, but we need you to follow through. And then the very last sentence says, comparison cripples our confidence and compromises our calling. If for no other reason to fight the spirit of comparison, it is because it is directly related to your calling. And we need what you were called to. We need what you were put on this earth to do. We're on the topic of purpose, and you cannot achieve your purpose if you are comparing yourself to everyone else. So I just want to encourage you to stop comparing, maybe clean up your social media, who you follow. And it might even just be for a season. It might not be forever. It might just be, you know what, in this season, the Lord is telling me to unfollow X, Y, and Z. And maybe down the road, you'll be able to you'll overcome it. You'll be able to go back, follow them with no issues whatsoever. So anyways, I hope this blessed you. I love you guys. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.